I am generally a LeBron James guy. I think that what he's been able to do going into the league, and I think some of his stuff is certainly contrived. I get all that, but staying out of trouble, being able to do not really getting into any real trouble. And no, the decision was stupid. That's not getting into trouble. So miss me with all that. But I do think he's setting his kid up to be a target here. I believe Bronny can play. But this is also nepotism of the highest order. Not that there's anything wrong necessarily with nepotism. No team would be drafting Bronny if it wasn't for LeBron. I think he's making a big mistake by not having his kid go back somewhere for a year, average 15 points, 4 rebounds, where you could at least be at feasible. He averaged 4 points a game, obviously measured in at 6'1". I think that he's doing his kid a disservice here, Saul. I really do. What say you?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to judge because the NBA game is vastly different than the college game. So I don't necessarily agree that going back to college means that he would necessarily prove that he could play in the NBA per se, because there's been tons of players that played at a high level in college and couldn't do shit in the NBA.
It's very true.
Some of them got drafted, number 2 overall and didn't amount to, a bucket of hamster vomit. So, you got to make sure that what your intentions are lining up with what you feel like is the best move for you. And if that's what they feel, then that's what they feel. I would agree with you about the LeBron, hype and the DNA and the legend that is LeBron. I get that. But I also think Bronny's a pretty good player. I think he can be a good NBA player at some point. I don't think he's there right now. He's a project. He should get drafted in the second round. I don't think he's a first round talent. If he's going to get drafted at all, it should be in the second round. Listen, they do evaluations. I think LeBron has seen enough NBA players to understand whether or not he feels like his son has the goods or not. I don't think LeBron is the type of person that's just like, I don't give a shit. He's got to play in the NBA. He's going to force that to happen just because of his name. I don't know because I feel like he still has a couple years left. So why rush it this year?
That's kind of where I'm at as well. When you watch LeBron up close, it really is remarkable. The dude's almost 40, literally going to turn 40 this year, and he's still one of the top 10, 11 players in the league. It's remarkable what he is able to do. I just don't know, because I think there's a lot of people, and I'm not, you could be right. I think that when a kid comes into the league and takes up a roster spot where he's probably, he averaged 3 points a game at SC this past year. I get that he had some stuff. I think he kind of makes himself a little bit of a target there. I don't feel comfortable with it, but it's not up for me to feel comfortable with. It's up for LeBron James to feel comfortable with, Saul. He does not care about what Mike Luke on the AZ Wildcats podcast says.
No, nor should he. I actually do think that Bronny's making the right move. I didn't at first. I thought he should go back to school because I didn't think that there was any reason why he should go to the NBA, because he didn't really prove much in college. But after kind of watching some of his workouts, seeing the things that he's worked on, I tend to go the other way now, and I can see how he could be on a roster. Listen, I've seen plenty of guys in the league right now that I feel like he could compete with to be on a roster. Some of them are here in Phoenix. So, I believe that Bronny could play to some degree in the NBA.
You had one of the funniest lines I've ever heard. I was watching the Suns, or your guys' post game with the Suns, and I think it was the Suns and the Sixers. And this is when the Sixers was missing everybody. And you're like, man, Devin Booker was looking around, and I think he had like 3 or 4 times where he's like, who the hell is this dude guarding me? And you're like, I was the same way. I had no clue who half the people on the team were. So yes, that point is taken. Now let me ask you this: if you're a team, why in the world? Let's say you're the Phoenix Suns. And why wouldn't you take Bronny and LeBron? Again, I know that you don't have any salary cap, obviously, to be able to bring him. But, if LeBron really wants to play with Bronny, then, well, you're going to have to come over here. Why not?
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
That's a very real situation. I could see Bron doing that just because he wants to play with Bronny. I could easily see that. So,
all right, here's my hot take, Saul. I believe LeBron James is going to be back in Cleveland next year. That's my call. I am taking it. I think that they are going to draft Bronny, and I think he's going to use that as an excuse to get out of LA. And when he gets to Cleveland, they'll be able to compete in the East immediately. That's what I'm saying right here. I'm throwing it down with no inside information.
I don't think that's going to happen, because I think the team who drafts Bronny will be in a position to take LeBron, because I do think LeBron's going to opt out.
You know what would be great? What if the Jazz drafted Bronny? That would be absolutely amazing.
That would be terrible.
That would be absolutely amazing if they drafted Bronny. I would love to see that.